Well, I hope you all survived spring break. I hope there was a time of rest and a time of renewal. We have been talking for the last few weeks about relationships and how our faith can help us to grow deeper relationships with one another. I talked some with the children about vision. I got a question for you guys. What color is all that back there? Everybody think purple? The people watching online think it's blue. Because as the signal is picked up by the cameras in the back of the room, sent through the computer, sent over the internet, arrives at Facebook or our app, it changes just enough. Right? Perception matters. We can be looking at the same thing as one another and see something very, very different than one another as we look around. Perception matters, and the way that we see the world matters. That's what Matthew 25 is all about. Matthew 25, this great judgment of the nations scene beginning at 25:31, is a question of vision. What do you see when you look at the people around you? More often than not, we see the things that make someone not us. We see, I don't know about you, we see the person who disagrees with me, the person who cut me off in traffic. We see them through the lens of who am I and how does their behavior and their existence affect me? Because let's be honest, at the center of everything is David Hansen. And so my question is this somebody, more often than not, is this somebody who makes me feel good and good about myself and good about the world, or makes me feel bad about myself and bad about the world? Is this somebody that I like or somebody that I don't like? And then once we see somebody through that vision, we see their actions, their words, through that same lens. That sort of selfish vision that places ourselves at the center, and whether someone is a net good for us or a net bad, becomes the lens through which we see everything in the world. Is that person an us person, someone who agrees with me and my worldview about politics and the issues of the day, or is it a they person who thinks like those people? We put on a lens. If it's an us person, if it's a person I like, I might give them the benefit of the doubt. I might assume the best about them when they do things and say things I don't agree with them. But if it's a they person, if it's one of those people, then they must be saying and doing terrible things because they're part of those terrible people. Right? Jesus calls us in Matthew 25 to put on the lenses of the vision of God. We hear what that means in the story of Genesis. In Genesis 1:24 and following, we hear these words, "In the image and likeness of God, God created them." Each and every person is the very walking, talking image of God in the world. The extent to which we have fights and disagreements and nastiness between one another is the extent to which we have forgotten that lesson of Genesis 1. In the image and likeness of God, God created them. All of them. Not just the ones that look like me. Not just the ones I agree with. Not just the nice ones. not just the good people, all of them. All of us, all of humankind is created in the image and likeness of God. And Jesus takes that generalized statement in Matthew 25 and he particularizes it. He says, look at the people that you ignore on a day-to-day basis. How many children in Montgomery County are going to go to bed without enough food tonight? The fact that they do not have enough food, says Jesus, means that we have not fed Jesus Christ himself. I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you visited me. We have huge, huge correctional facilities in Montgomery County, if you didn't know. Just up the road in Huntsville. Not just regular correctional facilities, we have ICE facilities here in Montgomery County. How many people are in prison there? How many of them are people that we would like to cozy up with and say that you are in the image and likeness of God? Or would we rather just pretend that those facilities are not there, are not in our neighborhood? They're our neighbors. Literally. Like not just figuratively in the sense of like everybody's my neighbor, right? But like they are literally our neighbors. I was sick and in prison, says Jesus, and you visited me. Was a stranger. Stranger is a fun word. In the Old Testament, the word for stranger is sojourner. It means somebody that is a resident alien in that country, an immigrant. ICE is down the road. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Jesus goes down a hit list of people that today we still like to ignore. We still like to pretend are not our neighbors. Even if we don't actively mistreat them, we like to just pretend they're not there. That we can't see them. That we don't notice them. And Jesus says that the extent to which we have done that is the extent to which we have ignored him. I wonder, when it comes to our relationships, how much our struggles have to do with this same question. This lack of vision. This selfish lens through which we see the world, the blinders that keep us from seeing our neighbors. Wonder, how many great friends have we missed because they're in those classes of people that we would like to ignore? How many great relationships have we missed because we have put them into the category of those people instead of us people, and so we have written them off? If we want to have real relationships, relationships that are, as we have said, rooted in the truth, fueled by forgiveness, they have to begin also with lenses that see people as God sees them. All people. Begin close to home. Home is the training ground where we learn how to treat the people that we see the rest of the week. Home is our gym for the Christian faith. If you can't love the people in your home, you got no hope loving the people who live outside of your home. So we start close to home with the people who live in our house, with our literal neighbors, with our co-workers during the week, with the people we worship on Sunday morning. We start close to home. Seeing those people through God's eyes as beloved children of God. Interpreting what they do and say through that lens of, this is a beloved child of God. What can I do to love them today? What can I do to care for them today? If Jesus were in their seat, if Jesus were the one right there, how would I treat him? How would I react to him? So we start close to home, seeing Jesus, seeing the very image and likeness of God in the people around us. Learning then how to treat further out those people that we might not see. Learning then how to find new relationships in people that we would have otherwise overlooked. Learning then through those eyes how to see the world. I really do think we walk around with a prescription for someone else. I tried on Kathy's glasses. I would have a headache by the end of the day. Right? Have you ever done that? Especially those of you who have glasses, right? You know when your prescription's starting to go wrong, right? Because you start to have headaches at the end of the day. And what do you act like when you feel like that? When your prescription doesn't quite fit, right? Like, I don't know about you, but when like every moment I'm uncomfortable, I'm not fun to be around. I'm kind of cranky. I'm kind of short with people. I don't have a lot of patience. I think we're walking around with prescriptions that are not ours. You are God's beloved child. You were created in the image and likeness of God, and you were created to wear God's prescription. You were created to see God in your neighbor, in the people around you. And when we do something else, it makes us uncomfortable, unpleasant, unkind. You were meant for more and better than that. Martin Luther talks about the Christmas story. And he says to us, how many of us, when we read the Christmas story, Luke chapter 2, we read the Christmas story and we say, you know, if only I had been there, I would have given the Holy Family a room. I wouldn't have been like that innkeeper and said, there's no room for you. You fool, says Luther. I love Luther. He says, you fool. Every day you have Jesus in front of you. Every day. Especially in those we would like to ignore, especially in those we would like to overlook, especially in those we would like to pretend do not exist and are not our neighbors, especially in those we would like not to love. Begin at home. Put on God glasses. Take them out when you go to work. Put on your God glasses. Walk down the street and look at your neighbors as you walk around the block and see them through your God glasses and through God's eyes. Turn on the news. Put on your God glasses. Remember that those people too are in the image and likeness of God and are Jesus Christ in our midst. We were called to more and better in our relationships. We are struck with discomfort and unhappiness. And I think it's as easy as putting on the right pair of glasses.